recording the class. Hello, everybody. This is going to be a really short class. We are just checking your assignments and we are just checking versions of what we were doing. And based on your modifications, we are just doing a small example where we can try to integrate all the different things that I want you to put together in the musical piece. Because your assignments are good, are really good, but I want to make a full piece made of that, okay? Well, a piece that can change each time that you run it, okay? Because there are some very good techniques of doing this. If you go, for example, to a place where they need background music in a restaurant, okay? You can make something that change over and over all the time. For example, you can make algorithmic music that is changing over time. It's just a matter of time in order to see that happening in different places, okay? What we were doing is creating a couple of patterns that we dictated as a musical idea. We're starting with our musical idea, and then we have this pattern number 2, and then we have a variation that inside is using sequences and shuffles inside sequences, which at the end become sequences of parallel elements. That is something that is not present in most of your assignments. It's very important that you understand that you can integrate these variations inside variations inside variations. Okay, this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see in your assignments. For example, if at the end this composition, okay, this becomes one section, and then you have something that is different, completely different, okay, another rhythmic pattern that is different. This, instead of becoming the composition, okay, instead of becoming the composition, becomes maybe the verse, okay? Now it's not the composition, but it's the composition part A, okay? And because if this is composition part A, now you can make a composition with 3 parts that are changing over and over different moments in time, okay? But that's it for now. That's it. I want you to choose a drummer, a drummer that you like, a kind of music that you like, and I want you to mimic that kind of rhythmic patterns with this technique, okay? For the next class, I want to have an assignment that is way more musical than the previous one. I want you to select what kind of music do you like. Maybe you like Radiohead, maybe you like Zoe, maybe you like Calle 13. I want you to pay attention to the rhythmic patterns and try to mimic the sections of the piece, not the specific patterns, but the sections of the piece, okay? You say, okay, there are 4 compasses that are doing this. There is an intro that is doing this. There is a verse that is doing this. And then you have to see how you can build something like that. Yes. But what is very important to see is that it's not in some of your assignments, you have a p-vine and then another p-vine and then another p-vine and then another p-vine and then another p-vine, like very separated elements. I want you to see that this allows you to put things inside patterns, inside patterns, inside patterns. Yes. And this is the technique that will achieve you to do fancy things very quickly. Okay. Is there any question? Okay, another thing that I can see. As far as I can see, you were only using PSEC and PPAR and PShuffles, which are the ones that I'm explaining. But if you go again to any kind of if you go to the patterns here, patterns in Super Collider, okay, you will go to a book called A Practical Guide to Patterns, okay? And if you go here to this document that is called A Practical Guide to Patterns, you will see that there are a lot, okay? I want you to read all these sections, please. You will see that there is a bunch of different patterns that we haven't used. For example, okay, px rand, okay, look at this one. Choose randomly, but never repeats the same item twice. This is kind of a shuffle, but it has a musical implication because it will repeat, but it will never choose the same one twice. Or the shuffle that you've been using. And this one is also pretty nice. PW random, it has list and weights, okay? For example, this particular one that we were saying, maybe this one, instead of selecting this as PSEC, we can select this one as PW random, okay? Are you still paying attention? Yes. If we do this, we can select this one to be PW random, okay? Let's check here the different parameters that we have. And we have weights, okay? And what are the weights? The weights, okay, are randoms, okay? So we can do, in addition to the elements, yes, in addition to the elements, it is expecting now the weights, okay? If the weights are here, we can say most of the time, and then normalize. Oh, well, first of all, without the normalize, I want 80% of the time to play the normal version and only 20% of the time to play pattern 2B. You see that? Do you follow what we are doing? And instead of selecting a regular sequencer, this is going to play first this pattern number 1, and then from these guys we'll select either this pattern 80% of the times and this one 20% of the time. And this is something that you should research on your own. For example, we have the P series, but there's also a very nice one with this one, P walk, okay? This one has some musical implications also. And this one are more for algorithmic, for random generators, okay? And these ones are for distributions of tables, and you can see the different examples here, okay? There are another ones, for example, for randomness, okay? These ones are for randomness, and I want you to read this document, please. I'm gonna put it in the chat. That's it, okay? Mm-hmm. Good. What else can you do? In terms of the melodies that you are selecting at the moment are melodies that you are selecting a lot of the sections by random. Probably the Ricardo melody is the one that is closest to become more human or organized. But there are some things that happen in the melodies that tends not to happen all the time. For example, you never make when you play an instrument and you well, this is not gonna sound, I guess, but if you play an instrument and you make a melody, you probably can you hear this? You never jump this amount of intervals as a melody, just as a melody. It's very rare that you jump and then you jump and then you jump to the top as a melody. Usually you go up. Go up and then you go down and then you go up and you go up. Okay? So how can you make a model of a melody generator that is not based only on the random of the note? I want you to think on that. What do you need to do? Can you make that into numbers? I mean, it's whatever you're playing, but what should you do in order to have that kind of variations in this kind of notation? Okay. I want you to think about that. Can you do it? Can you see the piece that happens? You saw the experiment that was here. The one that was generated here, the YouTube. I think it was one of you who showed me, who point me to that. It was music generated by computer in Zoni. This one. Can you hear?
It turns me on. Good day, sunshine in the backseat. God, I wish that road could never stop. Down on the ground, the rainbow led me to the sun. Please, mother, drive and then play it again. From
Okay, so this is the kind of things that are happening. Okay, this was generated with a computer. These guys will generate 100 of pieces while you are in a studio composing one. So we need to understand that these kind of things allow you to facilitate some kind of generation of something. Okay. So as an assignment, please put more effort in the composition that you will make. Okay. Please make a piece with sections, with a harmony. Oh, the other thing that it seems that it was not completely oriented, but at the end you knew it, is that you can generate chords directly if inside the MIDI notes, for example, in this MIDI note, okay, you put arrays of numbers, okay? This one, for example, will generate 2 notes together. In the same case, if you have here for example, the P sec here, and then if you have the list of notes, 60, 61, 62, but if here you put an array, and then you put 60, 63, and 67, this will be a chord, okay? So you can use also chords in a more fancy way. Fernanda, you have a question?
Yes, regarding the homework, would you could you please maybe try to be a little more specific, because I think some well, the instructions are somewhat vague. I mean, it could be subjective, really. So I mean, it could really help if you dictated how many patterns would you like us to use or stuff like that, because that's why I think the homeworks range or are very clearly different. But yeah, I think you could help us a lot with that, setting a little more specific instructions rather than just saying, well, expand this code as you understand. I mean, I don't know, that's my opinion, but I think you could help a lot with that.
Okay, Fernanda, if you want, I can do that. I Yes, I can do that, Fernanda.
Thanks.
Just meeting. Yes, I can do that, but at the same time, I want to preserve something. I teach art. I'm an art teacher. I was formed as an artist. I I believe in the subjectivity of the music in the sense, even though I work with computers all the time, when I say I want you to do your entire effort to make something that doesn't make me bored, that feels like a good music, that is more complex because you have to think way more complicated and to say what, because I don't want, I mean, you can do rap, you can do blues, you can do reggae, you can do classical music, you can do baroque music, right? I don't want you to force your style. I don't want you to force your duration of the piece. I don't want to force you the harmony. Maybe, and there are some examples that you can find on the internet with people that with 4 lines of code make something that you say, wow, wow, what is going on here? Okay, this sounds very, we have ears and we can know when there is musical quality. Okay, that's what I want you to do. I can give you guidance like, yes, please make a piece between 30 seconds and 1 minute, but I cannot tell you use one pattern or use 10 patterns. I don't care how many patterns you use. I want you to make a piece of sound that a piece of sonic experience that is attractive. Main attractive, that means that when you put it to your parents, they say, wow, that is awesome, Fernanda. You keep going with that. If I put your assignment, if I put the the 14 students that are in this class, okay, if I put how many assignments did you upload last class? I don't know. They should be around here. If I put how many? Do you remember what
Yeah,
was it?
but I think Fer is talking about more like some boundaries to the homework, because at the end of the day,
Ricardo,
creativity also.
with what you know, make a music that you feel that is a really good piece of music.
Okay.
Okay, that you say, okay, I can put this in a party and the people is gonna dance, or I can put this in a concert and the people is gonna clap, or I can put this in a funeral and the people is gonna feel really sad. Okay, or I can put this at the end of a football game and the people is gonna feel that it is a piece of music. Just make something that feel not as an assignment, but as a piece of music. Okay, which, by the way, is algorithmic. You cannot put all the notes. The P-vine, this note, 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 and then you have the entire Beethoven make as notes in an array. No, okay. That is another way of making it, but that's not the logic. I want you to make maybe this, minimize the amount of code and maximize the quality of the piece. Okay. Minimize the amount of code and maximize the quality of the piece between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. And it's not simple. It's not a simple assignment. If you want, we can do this in 2 weeks and we check how are you doing for the next class. And the next class we listen, okay? This class is not about programming. This class is about music using computers in a very crappy protocol, which is MIDI. Okay. And I don't take this as a bad it's the opposite. I'm really excited of what you are gonna achieve with the things that I'm telling you. I want you to think as what you are, which are engineers that knows a lot of these techniques. Yes. And it's a very respectful conversation, Fernanda. It's not that I don't want you to, I don't win anything saying, please make an assignment with 3 patterns and 3 P wines and 2 P shuffles. I don't, that doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Just,
I wasn't really talking about limiting us creatively, just some little specifications so that the homeworks don't vary too much. But
I don't care if
yeah,
they vary too much.
like,
I don't care because you are different people. I don't care about difference. You are different people. Ricardo makes one kind of music and you, Fernanda, are concerned with a kind of logic, and Omar concerns with another kind of thinking the sound. Just think what you, imagine what you want to listen and try with the knowledge that you have to make something that if we put all together, okay, we feel that musical ideas are happening. Musical ideas. That is maybe that is my concern. Musical ideas. Okay. Read the book, how the music work. Have you read the book How Does Music Work by this what's the name of this guy from the Talking Heads? Ricardo, have you seen that book?
Which one? Sorry?
How Does Music Work?
No, I haven't read it.
How does music work? I can give you the PDF if you want. ¿Cómo funciona la música de David Byrne? You don't know about this book? Let me give you this I think you can find it on PDF in any place. Otherwise, please ask me to that. That's the link. Okay. I think he explains in a very good way how do we parse in our brain the music. Okay. So maybe we should start from that. Okay. Maybe we should start from that type of thinking. So maybe one exercise would be select a piece that you like a lot, listen that, analyze the sections, the different variations that has over time, and try to mimic. Obviously, it's going to be way more limited in terms of production and instruments and things like that, and mimic that piece using these techniques. That could be very easy, which is a little bit what you did, Ricardo, because you took Despacito, okay? Maybe you can only continue with your assignment. But again, concern about the levels. This is not, don't waste your time doing assignments that you are not going to be proud of them, in the sense that you cannot continue working on them. That doesn't make sense. Many of your assignments has levels of volume that are completely out of question, because you are just playing with numbers at this point. You need to understand that you are playing with numbers for some musical reason. Okay, so once that you are done with your first version, you listen the version from the beginning to the end, you put it play. Now you go to the concert hall, you sit and you say, am I gonna clap off this? Am I gonna clapping? Is this finished? Or I want my money back? No, I want my money back. What do I need to do? Maybe more instrument. And you listen. Am I gonna clap or I want my money back? No, I want my money back. My money back because the drummer is playing too loud. Then you put the numbers and you modify the numbers in order to have them. Now you listen to it again. Does this last good? No, I don't like the panning. It's really bad. The panning, for example. Okay, so I'm gonna modify the panning. Do I like this? No, there is no counterpoints. Do I need another instrument doing quick? Yes. How can I do that? I don't know. Should I Google on the internet the manual? Yes. That is learning, Ricardo. That is the process of learning. Okay, at least for this class. I mean, Ricardo and everybody. Okay, I'm not just saying because the peer from La Guerra de las Galaxias is there. I mean, just think about that. I want you to make music with these techniques. Yes. And I'm very passionate about this topic because probably this is the topic of my life. I've been working with this 20 years and or maybe 30 years, and I'm gonna die in working with this logic. So I teach programming because that is important, but at the end I teach programming because I'm concerned about what you can do with programming in the sense of music, in the sense of what you can say to the people with that matter of thinking the sound. Okay, so it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. And yes, I will take into account all the comments that you say. I will ask you maybe in another technique or by email or something, if everybody in the class has a MIDI controller or MIDI piano or MIDI flute or MIDI slider or MIDI pad or MIDI whatever. Yes, I hope that everybody has them. Okay. And yes, for next class we're gonna have a concert with your materials. Okay. Let's see what happened. Let's see what happened after this conversation. Let's see what happened. It doesn't need to be very long. It just need to be very polished in all the details. Okay. And again, minimum code, maximum sound quality. Don't make list arrays of thousands of notes and thousands of volumes. That's not what we are planning. Okay. Okay. See you, and thank you very much for your observations. And I do like you a lot, guys. That's out of the question. I really do like you a lot. I want you to learn this very good because I'm pretty sure it's really good. Okay. See you then.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Professor.
Thank you. Have a nice week. See you.
Bye.
Bye.